the light have the same effect interval as antidepressant medicine, which work very well in this kind of patient actually.
So your study shows that the light therapy is as good as medication for depression?
Yeah, after stroke, yes.
It's one of our greatest inventions. The electric light has transformed our lives, giving us more hours in the day. But is it time to change the settings? We all love a sunny day and a good night's sleep. But what if I told you the health of your brain depends on them? I'm Dr. Javid Abdelmoneim in Copenhagen, Denmark, where hospitals and care homes are using a simple yet clever new treatment for neurological conditions without using medication. Torben Hansen is the Chief Technology Officer at Chromaviso. He and his team are bringing light from the outside to the inside.
We see light and we see things with our eyes, but apart from what we see, there is a different photoreceptor in the eyes that synchronizes the body clock to day and night that is different from what we see. Stimulating that requires what is on an evolutionary scale seen outside, right? Bright daylight and then the absence of light during nighttime.
He's talking about the circadian rhythm, or sleep-wake cycle, a 24-hour internal clock that can be altered by sunlight, temperature, and food, and affects every living thing on the planet, even bacteria. This daily cycle is linked to brainwave activity, cell regeneration, hormone production, and many other biological processes. As Isaac Newton showed around 350 years ago, what we call white light or daylight is composed of many different wavelengths or colors.
During nighttime, it composes of many colors, but with the absence of bluish. With this circadian lighting system, you can see how the blue light contents increases
Hugely
to an extent which is 40,000 times more powerful than it is during nighttime. And then as it crosses the day, well, you can see that the blue light contents decreases more rapidly than the general intensity.
And it's the ordinary lighting system that sort of just stays stuck at that sort of biological early morning, not much blue light and no variation in intensity.
Exactly.
When daylight, which contains blue light, hits the retina, a signal is sent to the center of the brain called the hypothalamus. Here, our circadian rhythms are controlled by a master clock, a group of neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. When the sun goes down and the light fades, your eyes send a signal to the nucleus which tells the pineal gland to release the hormone melatonin, which makes you feel tired. Using fundamental knowledge of the colors of natural light and circadian rhythms, and after workshops with clinicians and specialists, Torben's team has developed this lumiere that imitates natural light over 24 hours.
Under the hood of this, you see no light bulbs, but you see LEDs that provide the light actually. We have 6 different types of LEDs.
Yeah, they're all the other ones coming in there then.
Yeah, so popularly speaking, they share the day such that they ensure that we get the right composition of the spectrum and also provide the intensity that we get. You can see it's quite powerful actually. The system is composed of a centralized lighting controller. So every lamp and every LED in every lamp is actually coordinated centrally throughout the entire day.
Gosh.
And that's why it becomes such a convincing environment to be in when you are inside with a unit-wide or a widespread area with coordinated dynamic lighting.
On the shortest day of the year in Denmark, there are only 7 hours of daylight. But for those who can't go outside, their lives are ruled by artificial light. Unless you live in this care home for the elderly. Hello.
Hello.
You must be Jim?
Yes.
Ah,
Welcome.
thank you very much. Thanks for having me. So these are not the lights, are they?
No, I can show you.
Yeah, they look pretty ordinary. Let's have a look. And here it is. Look, and it's a white light.
Yes.
Very different to the yellow.
It's just like the May day.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Even though it's 6 p.m., it's like May.
Yes, it is.
So
all years.
perpetual summer.
Yes.
And of course, so it's sort of May at 6 o'clock now. There must be a sunset, so to speak.
Yeah, it's around 10 o'clock.
And so it mimics the whole day of a summer's day.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Where I work, I'm quite used to elderly patients or confused or dementia patients wandering at night and being awake overnight. So you've seen that completely go away.
Yes. When they go to sleep, they are sleeping.
Through the night?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
How long did it take for that to happen?
4 or 5 months
Ah,
before we could feel the change. And
oh, that's a really long time because to reset the brain, that's longer than I imagined.
Yes,
It took a
it is.
while. I'm on my way to a hospital to meet a doctor who's researching circadian lighting, and I'm really keen to find out what he's found because I work in an A&E department all day with no windows, and I'd like to know how it's affecting me. In most hospitals, the lighting is the same 24/7. Dr. Anders West and his team were the first to install circadian lighting in a stroke unit to study its effect on patients. In the weeks, even years after a stroke, up to a third of people are depressed. 3/4 experience fatigue and disrupted sleep, which can affect recovery. In a trial, patients were split into 2 groups on different floors. One had circadian lighting.
You can probably see the control unit is normal indoor lighting.
Normal indoor lighting,
yeah.
so that's this.
This, yeah. And the intervention unit is the circadian light. And we can see that the stimulation of the circadian center is very low during the normal indoor lighting compared to the circadian light. We found that patient that was admitted under the circadian light was less depressive. There was reduced fatigue and increased well-being.
Gosh.
And actually also reduced anxiety.
Wow, I mean, that's a barrage of improvements. There was no significant difference in cognitive function, but in patients exposed to circadian lighting, higher levels of the hormone cortisol were released. Cortisol regulates our metabolism and immune and stress responses.
In stroke patients, it's very important to have them, they have a huge amount of fatigue, so they need the cortisol level to get arousal and get up in the morning. So it's actually a good positive finding that we have significant higher amounts of cortisol in the morning. When we look at the paper where we investigate the depressive mood anxiety, we found that there was a 50% of reduction compared to the control unit.
I mean, the differences you found are enormous.
Yeah, actually the light have the same effect interval as antidepressant medicine, which work very well in this kind of patient actually.
I mean, so your study shows that the light therapy is as good as medication for depression.
Yeah, after stroke, yes.
Amazing. And these results are huge. What was your reaction when you saw them?
To see this kind of result, that it was so huge difference between these 2 groups after just installing some other spectrum of light, I was very surprised. I must say that when the new research is coming up now, I can only see that we show that the light probably have a huge amount of, more than we thought actually, effect in the human physiology.
Dr. West's team is also studying the therapeutic effect the lighting has on stroke patients' organs and other internal systems. Light affects every cell in the body, so the possible health benefits could be far-reaching. At the Aarhus University Hospital, the lighting has been installed in 2 intensive care units and the hallways outside. The 24-hour lighting is run through a central unit, but each room also has a panel with different settings.
During nighttime, we have a completely different light setting. It's a bit like a bonfire, actually. You can be around a bonfire, you can see from the light, but you are not disturbed. Your body functions are not disturbed by that intensity and that color spectrum. Also, having more of the amber light or this night lights, they use this, which is still, it's more light. They can do much more in here, but still it's not, it doesn't disturb the patient's sleep-wake cycle.
I mean, you're using the light in neuro-intensive care here. I've seen it in the residential home. Are there any other diagnoses it could be applied to?
Turning back into day-night cycles, awakeness and sleep is completely fundamental for all, both in ICUs and in rehabilitation. And it's even more powerful when it comes to mental diseases, so the psychiatric hospitals. You have both the seasonal and the non-seasonal affective disorders. Yes. You have bipolar patients where we can very specifically modulate the light that will help them out of either depression or the manic seizures. Yes, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So since it is so fundamental for the body function to be at a healthy state, it has a huge potential.
Oh, watch this space. Back in the care home in Odense, the lighting was seen as a simple technological answer to help a wide variety of illnesses. Even the staff have found that they're more relaxed and have more energy.
Dementia is a really difficult illness to cover with technology because the symptoms are so varied. They're so individual to the uniqueness of the people. We really wanted something that could kind of hit everybody, no matter where they were in their illness and what they came with, what their history was. And this was the only technology we could find that was that broad. I mean, it makes sense that light is going to have that profound an effect on elderly, as it does on everybody else. And one of the things, of course, we were sort of really interested, or how can you say it sort of brought it all together, is that we know that most of the elderly in a nursing home, in a care home, they don't get outside very much. Some of them are at various levels of immobility, so they just don't have that possibility of getting that natural light. So this was a really good opportunity to try this technology and see if it could deliver.
Ja. Inge, vil du med ind i lejligheden?
Hello, Inge. Thank you. Okay.
Hvis du bare sætter dig.
So, Jim, I see the light in here is exactly the same as the one outside,
Yes.
but you can change it.
Yes, we have the possible here to change it.
Yeah.
So if we gonna have some cozy lights.
Yes. Ah, it's much nicer.
Yes.
Yeah, really like mood lighting.
Yes, it
Calming.
is.
Should we find out how the residents liking the light? Inga, can you remember how you felt before with the lights?
Hvordan påvirker det dig?
Det påvirker. Jeg synes, det er godt lys.
Ja.
Jeg har ikke noget at klage over.
Hvordan er humøret? Bliver det bedre af det?
Ja, mit humør, det er godt nok.
She is very happy for the lights. She is always in a good mood.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, Inga, well, you seem to be in a great mood. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Ja,
Thank you. Tak.
Ja, tak.
It's not one of our cheapest technologies, but it is one of our most effective technologies.
Oh, really? So you find that it's actually been very successful?
Yes.
Tom, tell me, are there any negatives that you found?
No.
Wow. Well, there you go.
So much technology in that story. If you want more of it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and hit the bell button below for notifications.